Well, good night, everyone. Today I will be doing mapping the crisis for my project 2. As I stated in my previous presentation, I do have an interest in human trafficking and everything we are doing when it comes to combating this issue, when it comes to policy, new data, all of that very much interests me. So I will be doing human trafficking by US region today, done by myself, Nina Marie. Now, to begin my presentation, let me just give a little background on what research question I am looking into. So, a little background, human trafficking can be described as modern day slavery where individuals are taken from their homes or country to work in different industries, could be either agriculture, construction, commercial work, as many people know it. In each region of the US, human trafficking numbers vary for reasons such as population, social economic stance, etc. So we could see that many factors do play into the reporting or awareness of a region. The research question I looked more into when it came to my coding and my plots were, are there statistical significant differences in the number of human trafficking reports across US regions? When I will present, we could see the vast difference. Now, to begin, let's look at the data set I used and why I chose this data set. So I decided to look into the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Uniform Crime Reporting Program. It's a mouthful. But we know it today as the FBI. They have a human trafficking data set which has thousands of reporting cases that I looked into. Um, and this one is from 2013 to 2024, and each year it is updated to showcase the reports of that year. So the 2025 one will be coming in December. It includes many different topics such as geographic regions of reports, number of offenses, types of industry of trafficking, which I stated before could be like commercial sex work or construction or agriculture. I used ANOVA exploratory data analysis as well as statistical modeling. Now, let's begin with all the results I decided to look into. Let's look at descriptive statistics. Here, I did the mean, median, and standard deviation. South region has the highest number of total reports with 11,435 and records of 3,132. We have an array of different regions like Midwest, Northeast, other South, West, and that's how they have it broken down, which we will look into more. The US territories have only one record with one report, and in the standard deviation, as we could see here, they have not applicable, which could limit our analysis for this category because the data isn't shown. So this is just one of the many limitations we could see when it comes to data of this large scale, because some things are not as accurate as we could see here. These standard deviation values indicate variability in reports is highest in the West and other regions. So from the right off the bat, we could see how different these regions could vary when it comes to reporting or awareness. Now let's move on to exploratory data analysis. I decided to do a bar chart with RStudio and a box plot. So from right off the bat, we could see here that the bar chart, I mean, has very vast different numbers. We did the total human trafficking reports by region, where we could see the South has over 1,000, and we have US territories and other almost below zero or at zero. The South reports the highest number of human trafficking offenses overall, as I stated before. Northwest and US territories report very much fewer cases, so we could see the vast difference. And this could be for many reasons. As I said, it could be population, awareness, and so much other factors. And this shows how big regional differences in reporting, and this could be caused by many factors. For my box plot, I did distribution of human trafficking reports by region. This box plot shows how reports are spread out within each region, which we could see these high points as well. Most regions have many agencies reporting few cases, as we could see, like Northeast is lower than 50, and some agencies reporting very high counts. For example, West, which is, my eyes are a little iffy, but if I'm seeing correct, 200. The West and the South have the widest range of values, which we could see here as well. Now let's move on to our QQ plot results before ANOVA. Before we even look at this graph, because it looks a little funny, if I may say so myself, We know that it's supposed to be a bell-shaped curve, if that's the proper name. It's supposed to start at zero, go up, and at zero. This one, of course, does not look like that. The QQ plot shows how our data compares to a normal distribution, which this is very much not normal. Most points are low, as we could see here through the whole thing. It's almost at zero, and some join much higher than expected. This means the data are positively skewed because we see the rise. The data do not follow a normal distribution because, as we know, this does not look like a bell-shaped curve. Now let's look at my hypothesis testing when we looked at ANOVA. So ANOVA was conducted to compare the average human trafficking report counts across 6 US regions, which we stated before. Results showed a statistical significance difference between regions, and this suggests that the number of reported trafficking cases differs depending on the region, which we could see here. The West is extremely high compared to other areas such as Northwest. I did also include, I think it's called the Tucky, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't include it in here, but I did include it in my analysis where I did how reliable this source could be. I learned a little bit about that because the coding wasn't that difficult, and we saw that 95% was reliable. So this is much accurate because I know ANOVA sometimes could be a little questionable, and 5% was that we might not be as accurate as we want to, but we have a huge high chance that we are accurate with these results. Now, lastly, statistical modeling. I did my R plot, and I decided to, outside of the R plot, decide to do a little bit of a chart for individuals who might want to see a little bit of numbers. Region has a small but significant effect on offense counts. As I stated before, US territories show no significant difference. As we could see here, they're at absolute zero compared to the West. While regions has a statistical difference linked to the number of trafficking offenses, it's not a strong predictor by itself. Because as I stated in the beginning of my presentation, there's so much other factors that could be playing into why these reports are high or low, such as population again, or social standing, awareness. All of that plays a key role. Now, to wrap up this, what are some policy? We're doing policy recommendations or everything about policies. Well, funding and support systems. Funding and services can increase in areas or regions that have low report cases, as we saw, and need the support from outside enterprises to increase the support of human trafficking efforts and awareness in communities. Training and resources in very low regions. Provide training and resources for officials to become more aware as to how to help victims, as well as resources to easily contact officials when questionable acts are detected. Many people are not aware that is happening, so maybe these training for not only officials but communities can be done. Lastly, public awareness campaigns, which I've been repeatedly saying, to increase public awareness in all regions, especially in regions when reporting rates are low, for the communities to get more involved, because as we see, these numbers are high, low, like there is no steady limit or steady plot that has been okay, everybody is aware, everybody's reporting, like there's no steady number. So we really need to do something about this. So lastly, in conclusion, after we went through every single plot, we answered a question. Significant differences in trafficking reports were found across US regions, which we saw these vast numbers. Most agencies reported few cases, but some had extremely high counts of cases, as we saw before. And new policies are needed. As I stated, what are some policy recommendations? I'm even giving them policy recommendations to try to see to ensure and improve of case reporting and victim support, especially in a time of crisis like today, especially in US regions. Well, thank you for listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed.